what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys.
Hey everyone, welcome into The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. This is episode 117. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. Happy New Year, guys, and Happy New Year to all of you out there. This is our first episode of 2023, so how you guys doing?
Doing good. Happy to be back talking about video games.
Yes.
Playing video games.
Playing video games as well, yes. Yeah. Burley?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Always a fun time with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping with all the little Twitch issues we've had so far in this year, it's kind of peters out and becomes stable, so I can actually stream consistently.
And I just want to thank you guys for the final episode of 2022. Thank you so much for filling in for me. Yeah, like I said, I was down and out, health-wise at the end of the year. Came down with Corona, and my wife came down with Corona as well. So the holiday season, we were basically in quarantine mode the whole time. So, we're negative now, and we're feeling much better. And just want to thank you guys for filling in. You guys did an excellent job. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. So
Yeah, thanks.
all right. So in our first episode of 2023, obviously we are going to be talking about 2023. So there's a lot of stuff, of course, on the Nintendo side of things, on PlayStation side, on Xbox's side, on the Steam Deck and PC side. We're going to be talking about that on the hardware end as well as the software end with games and, what we think is going to be happening in 2023. So we're going to be bringing that to you. But obviously, of course, before we get into that, here's a brief word about where you can find the podcast.
Before the crew discuss what they have been playing, this episode of The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, in audio and video formats, will be going to Patreon in early access for one day after being recorded. So if you would like to support the show and become a patron at the entry tier 1 level at $1 per month and get early access to every episode in audio and video formats, exclusive post-show content in video format when recorded, as well as watch or listen ad-free, please visit patreon.com/thearena_podcast for further details. Weekly on Sundays, the podcast will be uploaded to all free podcast services, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, and in video format on our YouTube channel, The Arena Productions. For the audio version, just download your favorite podcast app and search for The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave us questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about the podcast. We also have a Discord called The Arena Podcast, where you can join and chat with the Arena Podcast community, and the podcast audio website is at thearenapodcast.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. For all information regarding the podcast and our entertainment and pop culture related content, along with our blog and forums, visit the official website of The Arena Productions at www.thearenaproductions.com. Finally, you can also follow us on Twitter at The Arena AMPGNP, as well as on Instagram at The Arena_podcast. Now, back to the show.
Okay, guys. First, before we get into all of that, let's talk about the games that we were playing at the end of 2022 and into this year, at the beginning of 2023. I will start. I finished Callisto Protocol. I played that. It's, of course, the successor to Dead Space. It's very Dead Space-esque. Obviously, Striking Distance Studios. They did a great job on the development of this game. But there is one major pet peeve I had with this game. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I'm not going to spoil anything about the story, but during a big boss battle, I'll just say it's a big boss battle. I have like 4 different weapons. And I want to quickly swap between those weapons. Well, it does not allow you to quickly swap between weapons. Basically,
What?
you have to go to the D-pad and then push the up on the D-pad, which opens up the menu, and then you have to, of course, swap the weapon, and of course it takes like 5 or 6 seconds, and then of course the character is putting together the weapon that you're swapping, and that's way too much time because the boss is going to just come up and kill you instantly. So this game really needed a weapon wheel. A traditional weapon wheel where you just, you click and then you just, you select that particular weapon you want and then boom, you have it. Right. There is no weapon wheel like that. I mean, that is a major pet peeve. And I died like several times because of that. And it's really frustrating. It really is. You would think that this game would have something like that where you could quickly swap between weapons, but no. You can only carry 2 particular weapons, and if you want to swap them, then you have to swap the 2 that you have for the other 2 that's in your cache, right?
Ooh.
But
Does that include your melee, or is that something you can hit people with your weapon or something? I don't know.
No, you have the melee the whole game.
Okay, so that's like a third option. You have 2 weapons and then melee.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So that was a major pet peeve of mine. It was really frustrating because on this big boss that I was fighting, it's like I would try to run away, go into a corner, and then have to hit the D-pad and then try to, configure and get that weapon swapped, and then he's got to, put it together. And before that, though, the boss is boom, 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 and you're dead. It's just they do not give you any time whatsoever. And I was playing the game on like normal mode, so I mean on the most maximum difficulty, I'm sure it's even worse. But besides that, the game is really fun. I really enjoyed it. Of course, the kill scenes and everything are pretty gory, but it is what it is. It's like Dead Space, So, overall, it was fun to play. I really enjoyed it, and it took me about 10 to 11 hours, I think, to finish the story. So, I enjoyed that. I'm also playing A Plague Tale Requiem. I went back to that. I'm in chapter 4 now, I think. But like I said before, I think when I was discussing A Plague Tale Requiem, still this game is just like A Plague Tale Innocence at the moment, I'm waiting for that time. Like I said, I'm in chapter 4, maybe chapter 5, chapter 6, you start getting different types of weapons but the character arcs are a little different in this game. I mean, Amicia.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about that too.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go ahead, Carl, because I've talked a lot already. But Callisto Protocol, I finished that. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm continuing on with Plague Tale Requiem. So, Carl, go ahead.
I just completed chapter 5, and I think that's where you get the crossbow. So you're almost to that, which is something new. But like, you're not really going to get to play with it much yet at that point.
Yeah.
So first, I will say I have finally finished Persona 5 Royal.
Yay!
It's over, and it's bittersweet because it was like this long journey, this part of my life that's over now,
Yep. And now you have to start Persona 4 Golden.
I want to. I really do.
And that's
now he's got to get the rest of the gamer
journey.
score for Persona 5 Royal. He's got to get the 1,000.
I could go back in. I did start a new game plus just to see, I wanted to see what stuff carried over. How, but man, I quickly realized oh fuck, I screwed up. I'm just gonna be fast forwarding through a lot of dialogue. Like it took me a long time to like actually get to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm actually like, in a palace and like I can actually control my everything and change all my stuff. Like for a while they kind of held your hand in that game. I didn't realize how long that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting because it's one of those things like you ever start like binge watching a TV series that's got like a lot of seasons that you just never watched.
Yeah.
And you're just watching episodes every night, right?
Uh-huh.
And you're doing it for like months straight, and then you finish and you're like, oh man, that's like out of my life now, and I'm sad and I don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got because I was playing that game for like since October, the end of October, until just recently, every night pretty much.
Yeah.
It was comforting, and but yeah, it's an excellent game. It's like a 10 out of 10 for me. I mean, I could have some criticism, of course, for it.
Yeah.
But like the story, I think the story's really good. There's a point in the end of the main Persona 5 story where I'm like, this gets really crazy. And I think it's interesting. I don't think it's bad, but I was like, whoa, I didn't really expect it to be like this out there. But I did really like going back to something that felt, I mean, not grounded, but it felt a little bit more personal. When you go into the Persona 5 Royal Extra Palace and the last the new villain that's in that, I really liked how that felt back to being a little less crazy. Let's just say it still gets pretty wild, but it's an incredible game. I cannot say enough good things about it. I cannot wait for what they do next. The music is so good. I can't imagine. I don't know how Persona 6. Like, there's gonna be so much pressure on that game.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I have faith in them because, it's just about writing good characters and, the music. Yeah, the music can be hard to top, but you just, find something else that works. This jazz sort of tone, as far as I know, wasn't part of Persona 4.
Yeah.
They just discovered that for this game. So like, whatever, you try something different. I'm sure you'll do great.
Well, Atlas has announced that there are games that, of course, they haven't given the titles or any kind of release dates yet, but there are a bunch of games coming down the pipeline, and some of them might be coming this year. So, maybe Persona 6 is going to get announced this year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It'll be a very exciting announcement when it does happen.
Yeah.
All right. So Plague Tale Requiem, I started, and I'm in chapter 5. And very quickly into this game, I'm like, this is the first game again. Yeah. For better or worse, right? Because I love the first game, but this game feels pretty dated. It looks pretty, but it feels like an old game a lot of times. And it doesn't feel. I feel I have problems with the way the story is presented because I don't remember exactly where I was, like exactly what happened at the end of the first game, right? And this game makes no effort at all to like catch you up or like give you clues as to like what happened in the previous game. So I'm like, hey, how much time has passed? It's not that long, right? I'm pretty sure it's only.
I think it's like 6 months or something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm like confused as like why exactly where they are, and then very quickly you get into like this really weird situation with this like sort of cult group, and I'm like, this is weird. Why is this happening right now?
Yeah.
Why is this going on? This is bizarre. And I hate Lucas already. Not Hugo, and I don't like Hugo either because he's still an annoying kid. But holy crap, Lucas, man, this kid is like. No, he's like he knows everything and you know nothing for some reason. You played the entire game of being like this awesome alchemist chick who had to kill all these people to survive this crazy thing.
Yeah.
And you got this other kid who's telling you everything, who's got to give you pep talks constantly because it's so difficult for you to have killed somebody now, which you've killed hundreds of people probably.
Yeah. She's like a bloodthirsty murderer now at this point. Yeah. So
I really dislike her character.
Hey, Palpatine approves of her.
I really dislike like the direction with her character right now because she's become like, I don't know, like she feels less strong. She feels like she's got all these issues now, and she can't. She's like struggling to like find the strength to like not kill people and then kill people when she needs to, and then like I don't. And she just like can't like handle it without Lucas telling her like what to do and how to get through things. And I'm like, Lucas, you're nothing. We survived this entire game without you last time. You were in it somewhere. I don't remember. You weren't that big of a deal. You were in the game, I remember.
Yeah. Well, just one thing about the story too. It's like you and Amicia and Lucas, they're running around and they're looking for herbs, they're looking for plants. And that takes like a lot of time. And then you do the stealth stuff. And then you get some of the plants, then you go back, and then you have a cutscene, and then of course now you got to go out and look for more stuff again. Just back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. It is also weird how it is very much in beginning, like, go out and do this. Oh, okay, we're back. Okay, go out and find this guy. Okay, yeah, find that thing you need. Okay. And it does feel like none of this need to be here. We could have probably like skipped ahead to more significant stuff. And I gotta say, I think the dialogue and writing is pretty poor in this game. I'm like, at first I'm like, it's fine, okay, but like it's getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
And
we'll see.
Or overall, it's just not very strong. Like some of the things they say, and I even I had to write down this line because I was like, oh god. So you fight this like this guy. You fight a heavy armored guy who's like a significant character. He chases you around at some point. It's in chapter 5. And he catches you, and there's whatever's happening. And he says this line where he has you on the ground, like, like something's going to happen. He says, if you want to be reckless, be better than that. And I was just like, this look on my face. I'm like, what? Who wrote this line? Like,
Hey, they took my line that I sent them to give in.
I was like, so yeah, I'm enjoying like the gameplay for the most. Like I like the rat stuff and the fire.
It's similar though. It's similar to the first game still. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a problem with some of it too because it feels less carefully designed. Yeah. So a lot of times I feel like, wait, where am I going? How am I supposed to? All right, I have all these tools. It just feels like, I guess, because you have a bit more power, right? Because by the end of the game, the first game, you have a lot of stuff, a lot of tools on your belt, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the beginning of this game, they very quickly give you a bunch of those things back, and there's a lot, I guess, you can accomplish. But then it also feels like they opened up the world, the maps a bit more. They're a bit more free than they used to be.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's making it better because I think it's like I said, it feels less carefully designed. Yeah. So like, it's like, yeah, I can go all these places, but like if I do, like it doesn't feel like cinematic or epic for me to do it that way. Like I'm running into like a lot of situations where I feel like an idiot. The game seems dumb. I get seen and I'm like running around like an ass, being stupid. And I'm not taking games seriously anymore. It's supposed to be like sort of gritty feeling and dark, and I'm just like kind of laughing at the enemies. Yeah. And I'm running around like an idiot, and I can you can do this thing where you can counterattack them, and they don't get to kill you, and you just run away. And sometimes it's hard to like just kind of hide once they've seen you, but like
so far I've just burned a lot of them.
I mean, a lot of times I'm like, oh, that was stupid. I'm just gonna let myself die. Like whatever. Like I don't care. I'll start over. Like there's no tension anymore, even though it should be, because I just don't. I don't feel like the situation is like set up so that like, what's the puzzle for me to solve here? All right, and maybe there's a couple options. In this one, it's like, just do it however the hell you feel. Just like MacGyver your way through that shit. You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with the puzzles, it's like I run out of options and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to start this again. And I just run into the rats, just let myself die.
Yeah, and there are times where like with the rats too, again, because it's a bit more open.
Yeah.
You can kind of go anywhere a lot. It feels like you can go more places, and the fire is like spread and you're like, all right, I'm safe here. But then it's like kind of dark in some areas, but there's no rats there. You start walking there and the rats are like, come after you. I'm like, wait a minute, but there was no rats there. I'm like, and all of a sudden, so I guess any area that's just like kind of darkish is not safe. But then that's not true, because there's some areas where you just walk right through and the rats won't come at all. So there are times where I died because I walked into an area that wasn't really brightly lit, and there were no rats there, and all of a sudden they're like on me. I'm like, what the hell, man? Yeah. So I think this game, I don't know, I kind of feel like it was rushed. Like they're like, we could slap together a sequel, and it'll be the same game, but it'll be a new story, and we'll add
more like a continuing story.
Yeah, right. And we'll expand a little bit on it, and we'll pump it out real quick. And they did a pretty good job on a nice sequel to a nice game. But it's not like it almost feels like a 1.5 game,
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, you're in chapter 5. I'm in chapter 4. Who knows? I mean, maybe the story towards the end gets better. We'll see. But anyway, Burley, he's been patiently waiting. So,
sorry,
Burley, what have you been playing from the end of 2022 into this year?
What have I been playing? Well, I finished God of War Ragnarok, as you know.
Yes,
that was a lot of fun to finish. And that, for those that don't know, that took my spot at Game of the Year.
And go check out our gameplay. Of course, our extra take is up now on the Arena Productions YouTube channel. So our gameplay breakdown of God of War Ragnarok.
I've also started up Callisto Protocol. I got 3.5 hours in. I am enjoying it, but I do notice one difference between that and Dead Space. Dead Space focused more on you using the splitter gun,
splitter cutter,
and your other guns. This focuses way more on your melee and wanting you to stun them, or in the one little combo you can do where it gives you the quick shot option to pull out, because I only have the pistol right now, to pull that out. And
dodging.
The dodging left, right.
Did you get the trophy for was it called Float Like a Butterfly or something like that? I think it's called.
I don't have that one yet, but I've been using the connection. Yeah, I've been using the GRP a lot. That's the gravity glove where you can just chuck enemies and throw, because be honest, ammo is scarce in this game, a lot more than Dead Space. You need to really take in hold of your environment. You'll see a lot of spikes and just blades everywhere. So you just want to melee enemies in there or chuck them in there with the glove.
Yes.
I also started up the Crisis Core port that they put to PS5 and all the other consoles. It was fun. It's been fun going back to it, but I hate the freaking RNG. That was the thing I've always hated with that stupid DMW. I hate that RNG. It's like, DMW. That's that slot reel thing. Okay, if you've played Crisis Core,
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Frig, because that controls your level ups. Because you don't get experience in that game. It's you just battle, and it will randomly level up, and that's how you level up your materia. That's how you level up everything. So it is. In my opinion, it was a neat design system, but needs to really overhaul. Apparently, it's been overhauled a bit, where it's a little easier getting the level ups for Zach more often. Yeah. But it's still I feel at times it's I just beat this boss and 50 enemies here, and I'm level 9. I should have at least got to level 10. I've also been playing on my personal time Last of Us Part 1.
Okay. I mean, it sounds like the best thing you're playing right now.
Speaking of The Last of Us, that's what we're going to be talking about after this. So
I thought I'd save that for last to segue well and all that. Originally, I could not get into The Last of Us. I picked up the Part 1, the PS5, because I had a gift card, and I got it on sale. Mm-hmm. I am enjoying it. The game does have problems. The story, I get why people like the story. The story, I get it. I'm coming a little later, and it's, at this point, feeling so generic in some points, because if you've
were you moved, Burley, at the beginning of the game there in the story? Were you moved?
I can understand why people are moved.
Did a
on
tear
that.
come to your eye?
Oh, I'm sure he
Yes.
knows about that part before. Right?
Oh, I've known all about that.
He's played a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Can't miss
Well,
the
originally
beginning.
I got to the dam and just stopped.
Yeah.
I'm now at the point. I got to the point where I'm controlling Ellie. If you know that point in the story.
Yeah.
And like I'm enjoying it, but like there's certain things, but like I hate the weapon sway. It's so bad at the beginning of the game, and they're like, you need to go into your upgrades thing. Instead of upgrading your health, upgrade the weapon sway. Because at first you're holding a gun, you're like, oh,
Really?
It
I don't remember that at all.
On the PS5 version, that's what it is.
Was that in the regular previous version?
I can't remember because. But
It's been a while, Carl. It's been a
Yeah.
while. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, like 2013 a while. Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, but like on the PS5 version, you sway too much.
Okay.
But overall, I am enjoying the game. I understand why people like it.
Mhm.
I think it's a good game, but is not the when this came out the 10. I don't see the 10 out of 10 masterpiece. This is game of the year, game of the millennia, and all that.
Well, finish it first, and then you can reevaluate.
Well, I know the ending of the story. Like I know the ending of the story,
Okay.
but I will finish it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like going back to that game, it not feeling that way, and I think a lot of that probably has to do with the gameplay because the gameplay feels dated, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the gameplay, in my opinion, it has worse shooting than Uncharted. Uncharted, at least for the most part, even like when you're playing on the crushing difficulty, the hardest difficulties, because I've beaten most of them all on the hardest.
Yeah,
you could headshot an enemy with the pistol, shotgun, or rifle or whatever. On Uncharted, if you got the headshot, you killed them one shot. Last of Us, it's not always the case. Even on like medium or on easy, it's like that's something I don't get. Like I understand for clickers, they're harder to kill.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be, but when regular
and bloaters.
Yeah,
bloaters
I don't remember that. I feel like the second game is pretty good on that. The thing is, like Last of Us 2 and playing like Plague Tale Requiem, because it's very similar games, right? But one's
one they put effort and one they didn't.
Yeah, well, so like playing Plague Tale Requiem after Last of Us Part 2, I'm like, gameplay wise, like this game is very dated because I mean, Plague Tale Requiem feels more like a Last of Us Part 1 type gameplay. Like it's not very advanced in what you can really do.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2, man, you gotta play that one right. If you're gonna play it like right after, you're gonna see immediately how much better that game feels. Like,
I do have the game. I bought it for $10 on a flat from PlayStation, so I will try the game eventually once I beat part 1.
The
encounters,
that's the thing. Is like the encounters feel great in Last of Us Part 2. Like you definitely feel like this is like an arena that you have like multiple options for you to survive the situation. Yeah, the arena. Oh yeah, Burley. Last thing I want to ask you, God of War Ragnarok story compared to the first game, better, worse, or on the same level?
I would say better.
Hey Burley, I asked the same question during the extra take.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, go watch the extra take, Carl.
Okay. I haven't played the game. I can't.
I don't spoil the story.
Oh, you don't?
Well, there are minor spoilers,
well,
but
you
not,
get
not anything
too
major.
little spoilers. Like one won't surprise you, and one will be like, okay, now I got to play the game to see it. But like the story, it has better high moments than God of War 2018. It has one kind of low section that people get annoyed with, but it didn't bother me. But honestly, if you can stick through that, you're going to get some great stuff. Like I love the writing in this game, and the dialogue between characters is so much better than it was in 2018. And not to say that it was bad in 2018.
How's the ending? Because like in the first game, the ending I thought was like it's fine. I dislike it.
I love this ending. And when you finish the game, don't just turn off your console. There's a little bit. There's a little bit, just like 2018, how there was, that little extra ending. There are 2 to 3 little scenes that you can get that aren't too far after it.
So, Burley, are you saying there that PlayStation is becoming like Marvel with their first-party games? Every big first-party game that comes out now, there's going to be a mid-ending cutscene and a post-credit cutscene. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll spoil it right now. Nick Fury comes to Kratos and says, I need you for the Avengers Initiative. If you remember Ghost of Tsushima, it ended that way.
All right.
So,
okay. So, there's a lot of video games have done that throughout the years. So I wouldn't say that's like a Sony thing. And Persona 5 Royal, I want to mention real quick, by the way, you can't skip the credits. And that's a sin, by the way, video game designers. Do not do that to us. Those credits are very, very long, and I sat through the whole thing because you have to, because you don't get the option to do your completion save until
longer than Mighty Number 9's credits.
I mean, who's played that game? Like 5 people.
True. But Mighty Number 9's credits is 4 hours apparently.
What? I assume you can skip that, obviously.
Okay. You can skip and hold X to fast forward.
Even still, that'll take a really long time, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Fast forward.
At that point, you go to have dinner, file your taxes, all that other stuff.
Okay, we're not going to do our taxes, Burley, in this episode, but what we are going to do from now is we are going to, obviously, the weekly news beat will be coming back from next week. Of course, the news gaming in the gaming industry should be picking up more during the next week. So we're going to be coming back with that from next week's episode. So basically what I want to do now is I want to focus on a bit of, we were talking about The Last of Us, and obviously we are going to be doing on the Arena Productions YouTube channel. Of course, we're going to be doing the, HBO Max Last of Us series is going to be coming out from January 15th. So we're going to be doing weekly recap episodes of The Last of Us. So what I wanted to do before we get into the topic of the show is talk a little bit about The Last of Us that's going to be on HBO. And there's an interesting article from The New Yorker, and the link for all of you video viewers is below there. Can The Last of Us break the curse of bad video game adaptations? So I want to get your guys' take on this, and how do you feel about, of course, this video game being made into a television adaptation? Of course, a lot of the past video games that were made into movies did not do very well, obviously. Of course, goes back to 1992, obviously, Bob Hoskins playing Mario, obviously. Bob Hoskins, he said himself it was the worst decision he ever made to play that character. And then, of course,
right?
Yeah.
That was the 90s.
Yeah, and then, of course, the Assassin's Creed movie.
Was 95.
Yeah, and then, of course, more recently, the Assassin's Creed movie in 2016. So, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, obviously, we're excited for this. We can't wait to see it. And obviously, as we were talking about when Burley was talking about The Last of Us playing the game, I think we can all agree that the first episode of this series is going to be very, very gut-wrenching. But I don't know. It's interesting because obviously you have a movie and it's usually 2 hours in length. So it's very, very difficult to make a game adaptation into a film that's only like 2 hours. But with this, it's going to be a full season. And then they're already discussing season 2 will most likely go into the story of The Last of Us Part 2. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on this? I wanted to get your guys' thoughts. Could this series break the curse of bad video game adaptations? Carl, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I mean, there's not a curse, right? Like, it's just, the type of things that they did, the films that they tried to make, and like it was an era for the most part of like we'll just try to cash in on something. Doom, right? The Doom movie with The Rock, like stuff like that, where they weren't even trying. That, right?
Well, hey, they gave us that first person scene in Doom.
Yeah, right. It's a kind of a fun segment in the movie, but I think Warcraft was pretty good. It just didn't find its audience, right? I enjoyed that movie, and it's like it's a perfect movie. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. Halo, right? The TV show, I enjoyed that. That was a well-made show.
And it's already season 2's already been greenlit. So
yeah. So like, I mean, will this be possibly the best, let's say, live action adaptation? Because again, if you want to count Arcane and the Castlevania series on Netflix, I mean, Arcane is incredible.
Yeah, but wouldn't that would fall into animation though, right?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. If you want to count that, I mean, it is an adaptation, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Uncharted. I didn't see it, but people said it's fine. It's not bad.
Uncharted. I saw that movie. It's fine for generic action film.
Yeah,
but you can tell they just slapped the Uncharted logo on a script. That like if you think it's Uncharted, you're just asking for more problems than
right.
Than what it is.
So what they're doing here is they're taking a very serious, highly cinematic video game that's already made and written like a film or a TV series and making it live action. So like I think they're not. This is different than kind of anything else really that's been adapted from a video game. There's not a lot of video games I'd say like The Last of Us. Now there are some more, right? But like that have these like very cinematic. Obviously it's pretty common now, but like they haven't made films for these type of things. That like this is the the right adaptation, right, at the right time. Mm-hmm. It's a serious story. It's cinematic, and the writing is already really great in the video game, right? So like you're translating something that's already sort of written and even like directed in the way a film or TV show would be. Mm-hmm. So and when I see them say that like, oh, we're not gonna stray from the game at all, or we're doing the first game, and I'm like, all right, well then like what's there for me? I'm not gonna say I won't enjoy it. I don't think it's gonna be good, but like, am I just gonna watch the video game like play out in live action form? I guess. All right. I mean, I'm more curious, I guess, at this point to see what other people who haven't played the video game, who know nothing about it, how they react, because since I already know what's going to happen, it's not going to be that impactful, I think, for me. But we'll see.
Yeah. Burley, your thoughts real quick?
Yeah. I was going to say there also has been a good video game adaptation and it's had 2 good films. Sonic films. I know Carl loves those so much.
One good film, we'll say.
Yeah.
And that's not the second one, but okay.
I think this will do well. Like they said, they've announced the first episode. I think the runtime was like 85 or 87 minutes. The run times are gonna be. They're using the runtime smart. Yeah. At least from what we can tell.
Hold on, but can I just say that is longer than any episode in all the entire first season of the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you that those episodes ran long. So
and House of the Dragon too. I mean, House of the Dragon was about an hour each. Yeah.
That's long. That's pretty long.
Yeah.
But hey, if you're gonna adapt this, like I kind of don't want them to do the whole first game in one season, because you can draw things out, flesh things out, and really add some extra stuff with exploring and stuff.
Yeah.
Like to me, I would like it to see you could end season 1 with the certain section in the game where Ellie takes over.
Yeah.
I won't go into spoilers, but if you've played the games, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I see what you're saying. I disagree in that, like, if you don't tell that story, if you don't get to that end,
mm-hmm.
I don't think this would be a very satisfying like season of how many, if it's like 8 to 10 episodes, that's a lot of time to go through and just not get that end.
Yeah. We shall see. I mean, yeah, a lot of time is going to be spent probably, traveling. So we shall see.
Personally, I want them to introduce Abby in the season because, I mean, if you not spoilers, but if you play the second game, like there would be a reason to do that.
Well,
it makes sense.
I think for sure we're definitely getting Bill. So I'm looking forward to seeing Bill. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're getting Bill, and they showed you Tommy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm pretty sure they said it's the entire first game. But.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for, of course, our reaction videos to The Last of Us. Of course, the show on HBO Max starts on January 15th. So now it's time to get into our topic of the show. So we're going to be talking about 2023. And we're going to start with Nintendo here. So, yeah. What do you think is going to happen in 2023, guys? Obviously, the game of the year for 2023 has already been announced for Zelda. The Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I mean, did you see? I think it was on Twitter. The Game Awards is already talking. Talking all the hype about this game, and most likely, it probably. I'm going to say it now. It's probably, if it comes out, it's most likely going to be Game of the Year 2023, just like Elden Ring was 2022's Game of the Year. But yeah, I mean,
it's gonna be Starfield, man. Starfield Game of the Year.
Oh yeah, well, we're gonna get to Xbox later, Carl. So yeah,
Spider-Man.
You can save it,
guys.
We're gonna get to PlayStation later too.
We got one rep for each system.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, obviously we're gonna get Zelda at some point. From the image here, I mean, Super Mario Odyssey 2, Pikmin 4, maybe. Could we get a new iteration of the Switch this year? The Switch Pro or whatever it's going to be called. Burley, I'll start with you on this one. What do you think we're gonna see in 2023 from Nintendo? Are we going to get more first big AAA games moving over and coming over to the Switch? What do you think?
Alrighty, well, I'm going to go with the obvious. We know Tears of the Kingdom is going to come out, and it's going to be up there for Game of the Year. It'll most likely, if this game comes out well, is going to win, like you say. As for one of your questions, yeah, I think we'll get more ports to the Switch, and more of them are going to be cloud, because we've been getting a lot of those. And I'm guessing because they keep selling well, they keep porting more and more games to the Switch via the cloud. So I think we're going to get that.
I mean, I feel like it's very little for them to do, right? Like, it's just running a different version of the game. Like, why not do that? And of course, yeah, if we're getting into the generation of PS5 Series X designed games, like, they're not going to run on the Switch in any way possible.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I think we're going to get the announcement of new hardware. Whether or not it's going to come out this year, I'm not too sure, because I would have thought last year I was thinking new hardware and get announced when Tears of the Kingdom launches with the new Nintendo, whatever name, insert name here. I don't think we're going to get Mario Odyssey 2. I would love for a sequel. I love that game a lot. Pikmin 4, I could see us getting Pikmin 4 because that has been worked on for quite a while. Metroid Prime 4, I don't think we're getting this year. That thing has been in such bad development. I could see actually Retro Studios pulling out another Donkey Kong game, because they did Tropical Freeze came 2015 on the Wii U, and then 2018 on the Switch, 2018, 2019, somewhere around there. So I feel, and it did do well. Tropical Freeze did do well on the Switch. So it feels time for Nintendo's first real mascot to come back.
Carl, what do you think of turn-based titles coming to the Switch? I mean, obviously Octopath Traveler 2, some of those other games like that. What do you think?
I mean, Fire Emblem Engage is coming out on what is it, January
20th.
20th,
Yep.
right? It's very soon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait for that.
I unfortunately am not very excited for that game because it looks okay. It doesn't look. Fire Emblem Three Houses spoiled me because that game is incredible and I love everything they did with it. And I don't want to go back to the older style of Fire Emblem. Like Fire Emblem, I've never really super into those games. Like I tried one or two here and there.
Did you try Awakening on the 3DS?
No, because I never had a 3DS.
Okay. Well, get yourself a 3DS and Awakening. Awakening's the one that really got me into the series.
Yeah.
And if you give me Awakening again, basically, but just on the Switch, I will be a happy camper.
Yeah, I mean, this one looks good visually, and but I just don't like the thing with like here's the older characters that you can bring back in some weird form.
I'm not into that. Like,
yeah.
I don't like. Let's just rebring the characters back because it seems to me they just don't want to put as much focus on the new characters.
Yeah, and your main character is like the crest logo, like he's like a anime crest ad man.
Yeah,
the toothpaste. If you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know, but like, and the story, I don't know. I every time I see a story trailer, I saw it for it. I'm like, this seems really wonky. Not into it. So what else are they gonna have? I mean, I think it's a tough year to guess. But I don't really think we know much of what Nintendo is gonna be putting out. Pikmin, like you said, that seems like a possibility. I think we could get the fabled Metroid Prime trilogy this year.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was.
That I could see. Yeah.
It feels like the time to roll that out because maybe Metroid Prime 4 is coming along, and they can tease that, and they're like, "Here's Metroid Prime trilogy." Because I honestly think that's what they're doing. Like they want to pop that out, like the year before, or like a certain relative distance to when that other game's going to come out, not like when it seems forever in the distance.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say on the hardware side that the Switch will probably end up being the number one selling, console of or handheld console hybrid of 2023, probably again.
Sadly, I don't think we're going to get new hardware like you guys said, and that disappoints me because I feel like I'm in a holding pattern with the Switch. Like I like the Switch. I want to play some more stuff on it. I want the OLED is like sort of enticing, but because I have a Switch Lite, but so it's probably a good upgrade from that. But at the same time, I'm like, this game is still gonna not run that great. I'm like, resolution's gonna be low. Like I don't want that.
Yeah.
Well, for me, like I'm making choices like on handheld now. It's if it comes both to Steam and the Switch, I'm gonna lean towards Steam Deck because and the nice thing is like I can crank and change the settings on the Steam Deck all I want, customized to get things the way I want them to be. And with the initiatives Valve has taken, as well as with the developers, they're going to keep getting things. So I know I'm always going to get a more optimal experience. Whereas you throw it out on the Switch, it's going to run like it's going to run. There's not going to be too much optimization.
Right.
There'll be for the first bit. But one game I hope we don't get for this year, please no mainline Pokemon stuff. Not till new hardware. No, like they've done they did way too much last year.
Yeah, they did.
Let the series breathe for a little while. If you want to do like some Puzzle League spin-off crap, sure. I'm not going to buy that.
No, they're gonna do like Sun and Moon remake or something. I don't know. I don't know which one.
We're now up to Black and White would be the remakes.
Okay, so that'll come out probably, and then I
like Black and White a lot.
Yeah. All right, let's move.
Be the best remake. Come on, give it a chance.
Let's move on to PlayStation now, guys. So, what to expect in 2023 for PlayStation? Obviously,
I'll take
party.
it away, guys.
First party. Well, this is the year, Carl. You got to get your PlayStation. Yeah, you got to get a PS5 this year. Yeah.
Is it? Question.
Hopefully.
No, it's actually required for you to do the show.
Yeah.
So anyway,
No,
first
not
party, obviously Spider-Man 2. That's one of the big ones for this year.
one of?
Yeah.
Please tell me the others.
Final Fantasy 16.
Final Fantasy
first
16.
party.
Yeah, it's not first party though. It's Square Enix. Yeah.
He
So-
said first
Wow,
party.
that's going to come with a prediction later.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. What else do we got for first party, Burley, for this year? We're not going to get Wolverine this year for sure.
No.
Yeah,
No, we're not getting
that's a
Wolverine.
ways off. Yeah.
See, the thing is, a lot of the big first-party studios for Sony have already just released projects.
Right.
So
I mean,
we're in a
Horizon's
weird
out, God of War's out. Yeah. So
Yeah, so we've got the Horizon multiplayer game, we know. Horizon's DLC Burning Shores, if I'm not mistaken.
we've got
And that
Forspoken's not first party. That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
But no, I mean, no. Feel free. I'm just pointing out, not first party. Feel free to bring up all of the third party exclusives. Those matter. They do.
Well, you've got, like you said, Forspoken, Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth
Yeah.
in the winter. PlayStation's at a weird thing. Like, I think we're going to get... Remember when they had bought Blue Point, it was saying they were working on something.
Mhm.
So it's been a few years since they bought Blue Point. Maybe we get that announcement. Whether or not it comes out this year, whatever they're working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say so. I guess the one thing you forgot was the Call of the Mountain PSVR 2 Horizon game.
Yeah. That's coming.
First party.
Yeah.
They don't have much first party at all. Spider-Man 2 is fall, right?
Yeah.
And,
Well, I think that's they have said it's later in the year. They haven't committed. I think that's their big holiday game this year.
Probably November. Yeah. So
October, November, it'll be.
Yeah, somewhere down there for sure. That's going to be the last game of the year. So like, if there's anything else coming out, I first party, I kind of have doubts. The only possible other thing, I mean, maybe something small we don't know about, but like the Last of Us factions, because they have announced that and they teased it briefly.
That's true. Yeah.
That could happen, right?
watch, they'll announce something about it right after the first season of The Last of Us on HBO Max concludes.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, we'll probably get Last of Us Part 2, the director's cut, whatever you want to call it.
Will they announce The Last of Us Part 3 this year?
Not yet, but I think it's going to happen.
Could it be this year, though? An announcement.
Yeah, you could get the announcement. Just the announcement.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Because it's been enough time, because Last of Us 2 was
2018 or 2019. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Sony likes to announce things like way ahead of time, and then be like, "Oh no, actually, it's coming much." It's like when they like God of War, it's coming out like Ragnarok. Like, what did they initially say? They didn't say 2020, did they? They said like 2021 or something. Yeah. Everyone was like, "No way, that's not happening," and it didn't. So PSVR 2 is kind of their big thing for the first half of the year.
Yeah.
And
but will it sell? Will it sell? That's the.
I don't think PSVR 2 is going to do. My prediction here: PSVR 2 is going to flop, because other than Horizon, most of the other VR games that are coming to it are ported from Meta and all Oculus and all the other VR area platforms. And remember, the cost for this system is quite a lot. The VR 2.
Yeah.
And they shot themselves in the foot saying, VR1 games are not compatible with PSVR 2.
Yeah.
So it made, like, you had a higher chance if PSVR 1 would have worked, games would have worked with PSVR 2. I've said it so many times. Yeah. You give me such more incentive to go buy this and then go buy a few more VR 1 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see. They'll just start like remastering those games and selling you again at some point. At least the couple of decent ones. Other ones like like your Batman thing, like that's going to be gone. That's just going to be locked off, because like I don't see WB like why would we put any effort to, unless Sony wants to like shell out the dough to bring that over.
Yeah.
That the Iron Man.
Yeah. So PlayStation 5, I don't know. I don't think they have a very strong year lined up. Like Forspoken's gonna flop. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, that game, because I played the demo, that was not an exciting demo.
Yeah,
and then after
wasn't very promising. Yeah.
No, but the real problem with the demo is the demo didn't tell you anything, and people said, "Oh yeah," people were making guides that this is how you actually do all the cool stuff. The game doesn't tell you, and it was like, I have to read the internet because you can't put a 30 gig download. You can't put a small tutorial how to do the stuff people actually want to do that you showed in the trailers.
That sucks, yeah. And then so 5x16. I mean, like I think it'll do pretty well. I'm not 100% sure how well that game's gonna do. I think it kind of depends on what comes around it, as far as like what's the date on that? It's
June.
June 22nd.
It is a game I will admit I have pre-ordered. Yeah. I'm excited for it. I understand from where you're coming from, Carl. I think it'll do. I think it will do well. I think it'll do well. I just don't know how well this is going to take off, because the thing is it's weird. You're doing the next main line in the year, and then you're doing second part of 7 remake in the same year.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, that's not coming out this year. They said winter. You think March of next year. That's winter.
I would rather have that happen.
Yeah,
I want that, because then you give yourself better pacing, and then it's not 2 a year, and then you got some early next year to really be excited for.
Okay, question for you guys. How will Hogwarts Legacy sell on PS5?
I mean, I think that game's going to sell great across all platforms. Like, it's going to be a huge seller for the year.
Yeah.
I think it's going to sell really well on PlayStation. Just saying PlayStation in general, because if you do buy, there is the cross bundle, and you still get the exclusive quests if you buy either on PS4 or PS5.
Yeah.
Like I'm buying it on that platform because of the exclusive quest crap. It's like I hate it. Don't get me wrong. I hate it that I have to buy on there because content is locked behind one platform.
So here's some of the games, and a lot of them are third party. Obviously, we talked about Forspoken. That's January 24th. Dead Space, of course, the remake coming out on the 27th. Hogwarts Legacy on the 10th of February. Wild Hearts on February 17th, Atomic Heart on February 21st. Then Like a Dragon Ishin, of course, the Yakuza game from out here in Japan that never came to the West. It's coming to the West, and that's probably going to sell really well on PlayStation. And then Wulong Fallen Dynasty on March 3rd. So those are some games upcoming that's going to be on PlayStation as well.
Well, those are all on Xbox too, right? Those are all
they're third party. They're coming to Xbox as well, but they're probably going to sell really well on the PlayStation, obviously. So a question for you guys on the hardware side: what do you think? Could we get a PS5 Pro Slim or a PS5 Pro this year?
Yeah, I think we could, because they're saying that stock is not a problem anymore, and I feel like they're going to have something out there to really push new sales, and a slimmer unit. To be honest, I could see a lot of people if they make a sexier slim unit, people who already have a PS5 might still buy that and just trade in their old PS5s, or just keep it in the spare bedroom somewhere.
I think we'll get the Slim. The Pro, I don't know, because the Pro is still weird to me. We had that last year, and it's why would you want to fragment your console base, your consumer base of some are on the Pro, so you can't assume everyone is. And especially with the price of these boxes, it's not an easy thing. I think I agree the Slim. I think we'll get the Slim. I slimmed mine down because I got the D brand plates. and it's much nicer and it doesn't stick. I can actually kind of fit it in one slot of my entertainment stand. Whereas before it was like, hell no, I can never do this because this thing will overheat.
The thing that kind of I'm a little bit apprehensive of seeing a Slim or a Pro model this year is the PlayStation just announced that the chip shortages are pretty much over now, and that they're pretty much gaining a lot of stock foothold when it comes to bringing the PS5 to the stores now, to the brick and mortar stores as well. So I just don't see like them focusing more on a Slim or a Pro when they just got over the chip shortage problem that was hindering the sales of the PS5 in the first place. So I think maybe not this year, maybe 2024 we'll see the Slim and the Pro model. But I don't know. I think it's going to take a little bit more time for them to get it ready. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But
yeah, I mean, the Pro for sure, that's not happening this year.
Yeah.
If they ever do it, which I'm not 100% sure, although I think they want to, because the Series X is technically more powerful, but I mean the PS5 performs really well, so I don't. It's not like a necessity that they need to put that out there.
Yeah.
But the Slim, I like I said, I feel like it's a thing that like drives sales. Like they did it with PS4, right? And the Slim came out, and I think a lot of people. Your hardcore base likes to buy the sexier version, right, of their console.
Yeah,
you can sell a lot of duplicate consoles to people. Whether or not that's like important, I don't know, because you don't necessarily make profits on that. But generally, I think the Slims also are often more profitable because they've had time to refine the hardware, right, and change out materials or do whatever they need to do to like get that cost down. Maybe that's not the case now because of all the issues.
Yeah. Burley, we're going to say something real quick.
No, I'm just kind of actually just like agreeing with Carl on this with the Slim.
Okay.
Like I've known people that have gotten rid of or bought another unit for the Slim to get it. Like I remember back in the PS2 era, actually. Because if you remember, the original PS2 was so big, the big fat thing. Yeah. And then the Slim was like, I don't know what, like a fifth of the size of the PS2.
Yeah.
That really,
the original PS2.
Yeah, it was very small. Yeah.
That
I remember that.
Yeah. That thing was so tiny, and it was nice to you could stick that thing anywhere. And like I knew places that bought that because you could just put it somewhere, set it and forget it, and it was a nice small thing.
Did you guys see the story earlier this week about some hardware experts were saying that if you stand the PS5 vertically, you are possibly setting yourself up for a liquid metal leak? Because
that was a one repair shop owner.
Yeah, repair shop owner. Yeah.
I saw the pictures. There was an example of what happened with one of the units like that.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows if that could be something that could be an issue in the future. I mean, when they said it was going to have that liquid metal in there, I did wonder, I'm like, could that be an issue because it's not heavily utilized in anything?
And the Terminator comes out of the console.
Yeah, right. I think this is probably the commercial product that has the most widespread usage of that right now.
Yeah.
So like, if there's going to be an issue, we'll see it eventually in the PS5.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, guys. Go ahead, Burley. Finish up.
I was going to say that like it could potentially happen, but I think on that it's more how you keep your system. If you don't abuse it and shit and damage it and throw the thing around, I think you're going to be fine standing it up. Like I have mine on the side, but it's all how you take care of things.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Xbox, guys. So 2023 Xbox, a lot of big things in store for Xbox this year. Obviously, Game Pass is going to probably chug along and continue doing as well, or maybe, of course, even better than it was last year. Obviously, there was news this week that Starfield is supposedly going to be releasing the first half of 2023, perhaps maybe even in April. We shall see about that. But I'll start with you on this, Carl, because you're the main Xbox guy here. Yes. So 2023 in Xbox, what do you expect?
I expect a big year, to be honest. I think it could be one of their best years. If everything plays out the way we think and it should, or the way they want, you look at if we just look at Game Pass, like what's already a couple of big announcements, and then if we add in the first party stuff, right? We got Persona 3 and 4, we got Monster Hunter Rise, got Age of Empires Definitive Edition on Xbox, you got Atomic Heart, and then of course you got your Wolong, right?
Yeah.
That's a nice spread of like other, smaller, some third party and some other smaller stuff. And then you got, the games that are supposed to come before the half of the year, which are Forza Motorsport, Starfield, Redfall, and Minecraft Legends, and Minecraft Legends is multi-platform, but it is first party.
Yeah.
All of those games, of course, will be in Game Pass as well.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a lineup just for the first half of games.
Yeah. Will we get Hellblade 2 this year?
I think there's a possibility on that one. They definitely are going to have something for the second half of the year, I assume. And Hellblade 2 makes the most sense. But, if it's not ready, they're not going to rush it. They're very much of the idea, like they need to make sure their games are great. And if that means delaying them, Xbox is, even though 2022 wasn't a great year for Xbox, they still sold well. Game Pass is still chugging along. It's got a lot of subscriptions. Revenue is up. It's higher than ever for Xbox. So clearly it wasn't that big of a deal to them to not have a strong 2022. So if 2023 is a monster because they waited and played it safe with, specifically Redfall and Starfield, then you could really turn the tide on this and go crazy with Xbox this year.
Will the Activision Blizzard deal go through this year?
Yeah, it will. I think. Yeah, I don't know when, but probably before the deadline, like the middle, June-ish. Before that.
Okay. Burley, your thoughts on Xbox this year?
Well, I'm going to first start off with the Activision deal. I say it will go through. It's going to just take a long time because, as we know, with everything that's happened, this is just going to be dragged out. I can see it hit the original deal time, but I could also see it going a little bit past just because of the things that have been done by other companies and all that. And I really don't want to get into that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They've got some games this year, really good games coming this year. Like Starfield is something I really am looking forward to.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it comes out in a well state. I only say this just because it's Bethesda. Because if you've ever played a Bethesda game on launch, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean, really. They're great.
Yes.
I
like
have some bugs. Yeah, they'll have some bugs.
Some bugs.
Some, yes. I say some.
But
I think we're going to get, when it comes to Bethesda, I think we're going to get another Wolfenstein game announced this year. But it won't be the two sisters. We're going to get Blazkowicz back again. Yeah, we're going to get BJ back.
Really, what's the buggiest Bethesda core RPG at launch?
Ooh, that I'm trying to think which one was the most buggiest that I played at launch. I know Fallout 3, if I remember correctly, was pretty buggy.
Fallout 76.
It's Fallout New Vegas. No, I'm not counting the online game. Okay, I'm talking about the core RPGs.
Yeah.
It's Fallout New Vegas, and that's the one they didn't make. So That was Obsidian.
Right.
So,
Obsidian,
yeah, but New Vegas had the cool stuff with it. So
Yeah.
no, I mean,
I'll give it
I
that.
actually didn't play New Vegas. I mean, like briefly, but I didn't own it.
I love New Vegas for all the different endings, the factions, and all the stuff.
I really think they need to announce something for Fallout this year. I know Fallout 4 is getting like a current gen update, but like I don't think that's going to be anything wildly impressive or amazing. I think they should announce Fallout New
5
Vegas
or
remaster.
Fallout.
Well,
Yeah.
you can't have Fallout 5 yet because you got Skyrim. Not sorry, Skyrim. You have the next Elder Scrolls before that. So
yeah.
But Obsidian might do it, but they're busy. So like if they even want to do a new, like let's say New Vegas 2 or something like that, I mean they can't. They're not going to announce that yet because they don't have the teams to do it yet. But I think they will do it. I think it's just a matter of you got to get your other games out. You have Avowed and you have Outer Worlds 2. Those are big games.
I was gonna say Outer Worlds 2. This year we're gonna see a lot more on that game.
Oh yeah.
And this is something like I really like the first game. It has some problems, but it was a very good game. I'm hoping to see what they're gonna do with the sequel. What are you gonna do? And it's nice because it is owned by Microsoft now. I can just play all this on Game Pass. I don't have to drop $90 or $100. This is something like.
How about Fable, guys?
I mean, I think we need to see it. I think we do need to see it at some point.
Yeah.
Fable ain't coming this year. I'm just gonna say it.
No, it's not maybe we'll get some kind of like a short gameplay trailer or something like that.
Oh, that I could see, but I'm just meaning that game ain't coming this year.
No.
Fable has been in. They've had nothing. They've had a lot of bad with Fable over the last 6 or 7 years.
2017 was when we first heard that Playground was making an open world RPG of some sort. That later, was revealed to be Fable. But they had to build a team for it, and they've never done something like that. It's like I don't think the amount of time they spent is out of the ordinary. Like they're trying to, recreate a classic in a modern version from a team that's never made that game, and they have to make it. I'm assuming they're trying to make this like a high-end sort of AAA experience, and you can't do that quickly. You have to take your time. You got to get that right. You can't screw up that Fable franchise. You already sort of did because you did Fable Legends and then canceled it. Yeah. Like that game was fully playable. They canceled it because I don't know what was missing or what wasn't good about it. I played the beta.
Oh, how was the beta?
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought it was cool. I mean, again, it's not a type of game that I would really play because it's an online sort of 4v1.
Yeah. It had me interested though. I agree, the 4v1, but it had me interested. And Fable was a series. I played the first one. I really enjoyed it. The second one, I bought that when it came out, and really really enjoyed it. I never played 3. I just don't know why. I haven't heard enough about 3 good enough to be I need to go download this and sit and play this.
Same for me. And to be honest, the reason I said they need to modernize it because Fable is very dated. If you were to play Fable 1 and 2, it's a dated games. And I'm sure in 3, I think I didn't play it because it was also it's already dated then. It was it's just another one of those games. Yeah. You got to do something. You got to go big on that for sure. The one I want to bring up that I think maybe outside chance Everwild could appear.
Okay.
And I say that because Everwild could be a game that releases in early access type situation. Depending on what it is. We don't know 100%, but if they're doing something similar to what they did with Sea of Thieves, Sea of Thieves should have been an early access game.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Everwild, if they have it ready, they want to put it in early access, I would do that because I think it's that type of game that needs to grow like that. It could be. Again, we don't know, right? If it's Sea of Thieves, anything like that.
Yeah.
State of Decay 3, I don't expect to see as much as I want to see it. I don't know that we're going to see that yet. Outside chance at a showcase, maybe they could show something.
Okay, so for hardware, do you think we could see an Xbox Series X Elite this year?
Not a chance.
I knew you were going to say that, Carl. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah. Not even close. I don't know. We'll see anything new hardware outside of like a Series S with a terabyte, hard drive.
Yeah. Do you think the prices of the external hard disks will come down this year?
I don't know what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like it doesn't matter. I think the amount of people that bother with that stuff is pretty low.
Yeah.
It's like, I think they should do something with it. I feel like they should make an official shell that you, like an empty shell that you can put an NVMe drive in, because you can buy that online. But it's weird because it only works with a specific NVMe drive that you can buy online also.
Yeah.
So it's not cost effective to do it that way, but it works. It's something you could do, and it's only limited by the fact that like the hardware only works a certain way, or they can adjust that to make it so like it would work with, I'm sure, whatever drive you want to put in there. There's no reason why it shouldn't be able to do that. The interface is there.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're not going to get new hardware, but I think we will get a bundle for the Series S and maybe Series X with one of the the Seagate cards. Those prices going down, I want them to go down, but I have a feeling they're not really going to jump down what we want them to be.
Because nobody's making that. Why would you make that? Right? Like,
well, yeah.
Because nobody's buying them, like, or maybe I'm sure some people, but it's not like you don't need it. You there's no reason. Like I never have to worry about storage on my Series X. I have a bunch of things installed, and I delete things. Like it's not like I can never have multiple games ready to go at whenever I want.
Yeah,
and I don't know who plays that many
because
games.
It's a niche market,
Yeah,
niche
right.
market. I mean, for those type of gamers that want to have everything, at the ready. So,
well, it's not just also niche gamers. It's people like me, content creators, because I'm a variety streamer and I'll go between a variety of games. I like having the extra storage. I bought it on my PlayStation. I got the 1 terabyte Western Digital Black M2 and NVMe and put that in. No problem. Those have come down a little bit on price, but not as much as people would like. I got mine on a sale and bought it.
Dude, I bought one for my computer, my desktop, and it wasn't that expensive, and I was like a terabyte.
Desktop computers, they're so cheap. Like, this is the thing with Sony, you have options. You can go, you can put it. You want to get a good one with good speeds, and then you just got to buy a heat sink, and the heat sinks are like $20.
Yeah. Well, I saw them test it. Like, it doesn't matter. You can put a slower speed one, and it still works fine.
Yeah.
So, will that have an issue at some point? I don't know, but like it works. And that's the thing. Why that worked out so well is because like that's the hot thing for every desktop out there. Like, everyone's buying these NVMe drives, so that's why they're going down in price, because there's a high demand for that type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
okay, guys.
The other thing I could say is maybe a Series X without a disk drive, because full digital is
digital edition
popular. Yeah, it's a very popular thing. So like I could see that maybe they drop it down the price to like $450 on something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that was just tough because the PS5 is $400. So like that's why it's a tough range, because I think unless they can hit that price point, you're gonna have a lot of comparisons, and that's actually you know what? No, Sony gave them the in most places because they raised the price. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's like with the S. I mean, I don't know if that's really that's something they really want to get into. I don't know. I mean,
they sold it for $250, but like I guess in the US, if you have to sell the Series X, digital for $400, you could, and then everywhere else you could sell it for $450 because PlayStation raised the price. So.
Carl, I think us talking about Xbox is giving Burley his allergies back.
Yeah, right.
No. It's talking about prices and wanting every.
Let's
for
talk
me,
about Xbox. Woof.
You guys saying it's only $400 for a box
Oh, yeah,
over
no.
there, and it's 700 over here.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what's making my allergies come back.
All right, Burley, let's talk about the Steam Deck. So what do you expect to happen with the Steam Deck in 2023?
Well, Valve has already said there will be a hardware revision, but don't everyone I know is like, oh, but they've already pretty much announced there's just going to be slight revisions. They're not changing like the amount of RAM, the CPU, GPU in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's more get a little bit better battery, and there's rumors of a bit bigger screen maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Which, hey, fine by me. I'm not going to upgrade because I see no point unless it's a giant upgrade, like a real big upgrade, which I don't see it coming.
Yeah.
But this thing I think it's been doing better, and Valve has the stock now where if you go to order, they're saying within one to 2 weeks, from your order, you're going to have it. And they do pay for the quick shipping on it. Like you do get, for me, in Canada, it's a 2-day business shipping, which is actually really good.
I'm interested to see how well it sells out here in Asia, particularly out here in Japan. I mean, if it's even marketed at all out here, I just don't see it competing against a Switch out here. I mean, you got hardcore gamers, they might that are online and they're doing a lot of online shopping and stuff. They might see this and they might pick it up, particularly if they're a PC gamer. But yeah, I just don't think it's going to sell like hotcakes out here in Japan. So
yeah, the Asian market, I not being there, so I can't really say too much. I can understand and agree with you on there. But more markets, I think this thing is going to do better, and it's just going to be interesting because Valve is really committing on making this more available and more games be playable on this. Yeah. So it is, and like I like mine. It's nice to play my backlog and slowly work through games, and with emulation on there that I'm able to do and play Game Pass through the cloud on there, it just made this device so much worth it.
Yeah. It's just I don't see the promotions out here, like advertisements for it yet. So
yeah, it's not going to sell like that, and it doesn't even sell that well anywhere, really. Like, if realistically, the amount of units out there are what? Like, I think someone said somewhere like they've sold 1 million units however long ago, and they're even if they're at 2 million units, like that's a fairly low amount when you consider like if we're talking about like a console, right? The Switch or any portable thing it's going up against. I mean, the Switch is what? How many are they at? I don't even know. Over 100 million?
Over 100 million now.
Well over
I think
100.
I think it's around 115 now, they've announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be second all time to, it's going to eventually pass the Wii.
Yeah, so they're not even in the same stratosphere. The Steam Deck to the Switch, right?
Yeah.
And it never will be. I think which model do you have, Burley?
I have the middle model, the 256 gig. Anyone that's going to buy this, there's nothing wrong with the 64 gig, but I suggest buying the middle at least, because then you have the SSD instead of the EMC flash of 64. But I have tried running games off the micro SD card slot. You do notice a difference, but it's not so bad.
Yeah, so that's where I think they can improve. I honestly think they should kill that low unit, the low model. If I had to guess, I imagine very few people want that. On the off chance that someone's just like, I just want the cheapest thing. But I think a lot of people are like techie, right? If you're buying this, and you're gonna, Burley.
I was gonna say, I agree. If you're buying this device, most people you're a tech enthusiast. You're into the PC game. You're into hobbying and cranking, do all this modding and stuff. It's more been going for that market, but they're slowly getting into the casual market. Yeah, whether or not it's going to be well there, not sure.
Right. You look at that type of person and seeing like, all right, do I want 64 gig, whatever drive versus 256,
Yeah.
NVMe.
SSD.
I think that's a no-brainer for most people because it's a huge difference in what you're going to get, performance and storage space for something that you're probably going to need a lot of space for because you can put a lot of things on there. So that's where if they can get a unit that's the lowest unit to have NVMe and it's a good price, that's where they should go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's been our discussion of 2023 in gaming. Obviously, a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline for 2023. So yeah.
Can I quickly
go ahead?
A couple games. There's a couple of things we didn't mention that are this year because this year is stacked, especially early in the year. One Piece Odyssey we didn't mention. I think in Kulinati, it's a small game, but it's on Game Pass. I want to mention. I played the demo. I like that. We mentioned most of these games. The Day Before is one that was delayed from last year, which is this online MMO, like State of Decay-ish, zombie type thing that had some buzz.
That's why it's getting brought up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it had some buzz actually for a little bit. I think that'll be could be a big PC. It's PC only. So I think that could be successful. Skull and Bones, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I don't think we maybe mentioned Resident Evil 4 remake. Maybe we mentioned, but that's big.
That's big.
Yeah.
Next Assassin's Creed is coming as well. So
Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Mirage.
I'm really excited for that. You got Suicide Squad, Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4.
Yep.
That could be really big, and then
which possibly could be Game Pass day one if the merger or
the deal's got to close pretty soon for that one. I think because
I don't know how that works. Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think when Diablo 4, because I believe they have the announcement and it's before the release date, and I think it's before the deal closes. So it's not going to be day one Game Pass, but it'll be if the deal closes when it's supposed to, it could come to Game Pass quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably come to Game Pass the day after the deal closes. I mean, they'll just put it right on.
It's possible,
yeah. Same with Call of Duty in the fall. It's a possibility as well.
And speaking of Game Pass, you got Last Kiss of Benedict Fox, which is a good-looking indie.
Mm-hmm.
You got Stalker 2 again this year. No date on that yet. Liza P. Ghostwire Tokyo. That's gonna hit Game Pass this year.
Game Pass. Sure. Yep.
Yeah. And Tekken 8 is this year as well.
Yeah.
And one small one for me, which was delayed out of last year, Metal Slug Tactics.
Yeah.
Which I am excited to see how that turns out.
Good stuff. Yeah. We'll be going over a ton of these games. There's so many games that we can't get to in this episode, but I'm sure we'll be covering them down the pipeline as they come out. So. And with that, it's time to talk about new game releases for the week of January 9th through the 15th. So, yes, let's check out the upcoming games. And, of course, I am first this time. So I'm going to go ahead and put up. Let me go ahead and get it ready here. So my pick of the week is Chasing Static. A psychological horror short story. Explore the untouched wilderness of rural Wales as you uncover the forgotten remains of a mysterious facility and find the truth behind the missing villagers of Hearth. So it comes out on January 12th. It's already out on PC, but it's, of course, coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. So, yeah. Chasing Static. Yeah. I mean, it's great to start the new year off with a kind of a horror game, so why not? So, yeah, it kind of looks like maybe like a PS2 era game, in a sense. But yeah,
we're not seeing the video. I don't know if you're trying to show it.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so you know, sounds like you're watching.
Oh,
you're getting it. We
okay, there it is. There. Sorry, guys. Yeah, Chasing Static. Okay. Okay, Carl, you're up next. Go ahead, man.
All right, I chose Children of Silent Town coming on January 11th. PC, PS4, 5, Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series. Children of Silent Town is a dark adventure game that tells the story of Lucy, a girl growing up in a village deep in a forest inhabited by monsters. People disappearing is nothing uncommon here, but this time Lucy is old enough to investigate on her own, or so she thinks. This looks like a cool little narrative adventure, the good art style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. January 11th. All right. And Burley, you're up next. What do you have for us?
My pick of the week is One Piece Odyssey. A broken Thousand Sunny, scattering crew members Luffy's missing Straw Hat. During the voyage, the Straw Hats, led by Monkey D. Luffy, are swallowed by a huge storm. At sea, they end up on a mysterious island full of nature amidst the storm and become separated from each other. The crew sets out on new adventurous journey with wonders of raging nature, powerful enemies, and strange encounters with island locals. Work together with Luffy and his crew to set sail once again. It's coming Friday, January 13th to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series. No
there
Nintendo
you go, Carl.
Switch.
That's what you were mentioning earlier, this One Piece game. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
This is a game. I've watched quite a bit of footage. I actually have it pre-ordered. I got my little steelbook coming with it.
Ooh, Steelbook. Yeah, it's a turn-based RPG. I should be excited, but it is, again, I feel there's a risk that it's one of those cash grab anime games. It just happens to be a turn-based RPG, one of those, which they have made before. But this is it looks to be a higher quality and type of thing. So hopefully it turns out to be really good. I've always wanted to get into One Piece. It's just One Piece is just like so inaccessible. Yeah, it's too much of it.
It is a chore to get through because of how long, and like if you're watching anime or reading the manga, and you have to, like if you're watching anime, it's like you can skip here because it's all filler. I like that they're actually getting the original writer, story creator Oda is involved in writing the story for it, which is nice. And expat, this will make you happy. Yeah. There's no English dub. It's all Japanese voice acting.
Yay!
Boo!
Yay!
The English voice crew in Persona 5, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would wish you give me both.
I was kind of making fun of Burley on one of his streams when he was playing the Final Fantasy because the dubbing, man, it sounded like the English dubbing from an old 1980s kung fu movie.
Was it Crisis Core?
Yeah, it was Crisis Core.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that, and that'll happen. That's probably why this game, they didn't want to spend the money, because unless you know that happened for a lot of games back in the day, because there wasn't voice acting. It's expensive, and they didn't want to spend the money.
Well, I think they also did this for the Fairy Tail game, the turn-based Fairy Tail RPG. It came out a couple of years ago. There's an anime called Fairy Tail. I don't know if you know.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. It's a similar style that the One Piece is going for, and they did the same. It's all Japanese voice acting, turn based.
It's easy too, because there's an English voice for the actors for the anime. So like they could have tried to get them, but I assume it's just it's budget. They just don't want to.
Yeah, it's the money they have to pay the actors and stuff. So.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, those were our picks of the week for January 9th through the 15th. So you can, of course, go to releases.com and check out all the releases that are coming for the upcoming week. So now it's time for Burley, the PS Plus Essential games for January. What are we getting?
Yeah, the January list. not a very exciting list. The big one, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, PS4, PS5. Mm-hmm. Great game. I already own it, and they've given it away before on some little event.
Yeah,
so,
I think it's because Survivor is coming out soon. So
that's Survivor's.
And, it's on Game Pass because it's on EA Play. So
yeah.
So. The next one, I know Carl's gonna love this. Fallout 76 for PS4. So yeah, the Fallout MMO. I remember this had so much hype. I've heard it has gotten better with expansions and content updates. So hey, I could try it out and see how it is.
It's a game I've wanted to go back to, because I did play it I got my fun out of it. I bought it cheap because it went on sale real quick, and then and now it's on Game Pass. But like it was before then.
Yeah.
The last one is Axiom Verge 2 for PS4, PS5. I have not played the original Axiom Verge. Axiom Verge 2 looks good. But I'll try it out.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, we're still looking at Fallout 76 here, and of course, West Virginia. Yeah. So, yeah. When it first came out, it was pretty buggy. Yeah, a lot of people were out, playing online. They were having a lot of problems with it, but over time, it's gotten really good. So, yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Hopefully February. I'm hoping for a bit better month. Maybe get a day one release on there. Who am I kidding?
Yeah.
No, but actually,
this looks neat. This Metroidvania type game.
Yeah, Axiom Verge too. Yeah. So.
I do love like the retro style art for it.
Yep.
I don't need a graphically impressive game. I just want a good game.
Yeah, I heard it's quite challenging too. So, yeah, good stuff. All righty. Somebody's getting tired. Okay, Carl, I know you talked about some of the games for Game Pass, but can you go over them? What are we getting in January for Game Pass?
So this is an interesting one because we don't actually have. They didn't do a drop, which is odd because they generally do their Game Pass drops the first and third Tuesdays of a month. And we've gone already without it. So we have a few things that are previously announced. Like right now we're watching the video of Persona 3 Portable and Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah.
Game Pass. We also have, that's on the 19th. Then we also have Monster Hunter Rise announced for the 20th. And Inkulinati announced for the 31st.
Yeah.
And a game called Stranded Deep dropped on Game Pass recently, just this week. Kind of just out of nowhere, they dropped that. And again, probably because they didn't announce. They would if they had their monthly announcement, we might have seen it. And also, if you don't know, they didn't do a second drop in December. They told us that.
Yeah,
it's not like they just forgot about it. They told us that wasn't going to happen at a certain point, which I get it. It's the end of the year. Yeah, I understand that. It's not. That makes sense. But
I just want to say real quick, Carl, I highly recommend Persona 4 Golden. I played the whole game on the Vita. Yeah. But it's amazing. Yeah, it's great, just like Persona 5. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and Persona 3 looks interesting too. Although I saw, and this is probably like not a strong rumor but it's out there that maybe they might do a sort of remake of Persona 3, which I think would be cool because that game looks interesting. But Vend is very old, and there's things about like which is the best version to play. So like I could see them like let's jazz that up. 1 and 2, I think you could probably forget about those, like unless you're gonna do like a real full remake. But like you probably shouldn't bother.
It's more along the retro lines.
Yeah, those are really old games.
Yeah.
Well, I think one was PS1 and 2 was PS2 as well.
Yeah, I don't know. So I just want to say, like, speculation, conspiracy theory. I mean, there's rumors out there that there's a showcase of sorts for Xbox early this year. I want to say it's coming very soon because they haven't announced. They don't miss weeks like this. It's very rare. The thing that happened at the end of December. They told us they weren't going to do it. Right. They haven't said anything yet for this month. So if I have to guess, next Tuesday they're going to do a Game Pass drop, and maybe that's going to be the showcase. Although they haven't said anything, so like unless they can announce Monday, that we're doing a showcase, and then it's going to be Tuesday, which maybe that's the experiment because Nintendo does that. They'll announce it the day before. So, who knows? Maybe they're going to start a new strategy, but like they got to do this. They have to do a Game Pass drop next Tuesday, and it makes sense if you're gonna have a showcase. Why not line those things up?
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to the internet, I mean, it's already etched in stone that there's going to be some type of presentation. But we
Did I
don't
say
know.
Age of Empires is on the 31st? I don't think I said that. So the 31st Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition coming to Xbox. It's already on PC, but
yeah, good stuff.
That's cool. I'm actually excited to see how this plays out. I'm not gonna have time for that game, but it's they apparently put a lot of time and effort into adapting that interface and the controls for a controller, because it's a big difference going from a game like that with mouse keyboard to controller.
Yeah,
it's a lot of things you have to account for. This other game that we have playing here, actually I don't know the title of this game, so I did see that this was coming. I just don't know what it's called.
Yeah, you'll see it at the end of the video here. But loot and shoots, solo or 2-player combo. So, yeah, kind of has that I don't know, Borderlands vibe to it a little bit. So,
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The boss battles we're seeing here. So,
and there's rumors floating
RoboQuest.
about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Warriors 3 is rumored for Game Pass. I even saw a rumor, and they base it on things that they usually base it on. So maybe it's strong that Diofield Chronicle could be one that could drop, which that'd be a cool choice. Something worth trying. I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Cool. All right, so it's time to talk about the games that we're going to be playing this upcoming week. So obviously, I'm going to be continuing with A Plague Tale Requiem. So trying to get farther in and hopefully finish that up. So Burley, what are you going to be playing this upcoming week?
Well, on my personal time, I'm going to try and see if I can finish Last of Us Part 1 before the show starts. I know I don't have too much more left in the game, so I think I should be able to power through it. Mm-hmm. And if I get time on Friday and my copy comes in, One Piece. But the main games I'll be playing, Callisto and Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core.
Cool. Carl, how about you?
Yeah, Plague Tale Requiem is probably all I'll really get to this week, because I don't think I'll finish it.
Yeah.
And after that, if for some reason I did, which I doubt, but I'm going to play Chained Echoes next.
Nice. All right. So, we got a lot of cool content, as well as the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast this coming year. And, of course, for our patrons, of course, exclusive access to our post shows. So I want to thank all you patrons, of course, for all of your continued support. And, of course, like we talked about earlier in the show, of course, we're going to start doing The Last of Us weekly recap episodes of that. Obviously, our Willow Season 1 kind of a review. We're going to be doing that as well upcoming. I will be doing weekly episodes of The Bad Batch on our Star Wars Republic show, so stay tuned for that. And obviously at the beginning of February on our Warp Factor 10 show for Star Trek, of course, Picard, the final season. We're going to be doing weekly episodes of that too. So a lot of stuff, a lot of content coming for you in 2023 on the Arena Productions YouTube channel. So if you liked this episode, of course, our first episode of the podcast of 2023, please be sure to hit that like and the subscribe and the notification bell for when we drop a new episode here on the Arena Productions. And of course, leave us some comments. What do you think is going to be coming in 2023? Do you agree with us or disagree with some of the points that we made on what we think is going to happen in 2023? Let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate comments, and we're looking forward to reading them. So thank you so much for all of your support as well. So it's time to end the show now with our indie recording artist spotlight. So this week's spotlight is on Third Dimension. Third Dimension is a house music outfit from Karlsruhe, Germany. So in the beginning, their Soundbreak mixtape series, which mix their own mashups and edits with freshly released house music. Really caught on, publishing on world-renowned electronic music blogs to positive reviews. With their exciting beats and excellent mix of symphonious and pumping sounds, they conquer every dance floor and turn the night into an unforgettable music experience. From the title song of their album called Burn. So this has been the Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, episode 117. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming and Turn-Based Carl. We hope to catch you in the next one. So Happy New Year, everyone. We hope to catch you next week. So take care. Peace out.
Living in a crazy world, following the path that always twists and turns. Gave up on your sanity to hide behind the devil, 'cause you think you'll live forever. Say you're never getting old, out there thinking that you're in the world alone. No one ever told you that you have to live for something, or in the end you will be nothing.